I want to say we had this amazing rummage sale yesterday. We raised about $2,000. It was fabulous. Many, many thanks go to Amy and all the people who did all the work to make it come off the way it did. A lot of the stuff that we didn't sell went to the thrift shop down the street, which all of his proceeds apparently go out to the greater community. I know on his website he talks about helping to build wells in Africa. So it's a good deal. And I'm grateful that a lot of the stuff was able to be taken away. And I'm going to get rid of that right there like that. Okay. But what I really want to go with is we've stored all these things for the past year. And finally, we are at the place where it feels a little bit like COVID is done. We're ready to move on. But it also feels to me that maybe we shouldn't be doing this. For the past couple of months, I have been waiting for this gospel because there is a need for us to rest. We are in deep need of rest most of the time. We are a driven, rat race kind of people, and we don't like to think of ourselves as needing rest. I often say to myself, I'll rest when I'm done with this project, this last load of laundry, this bunch of errands, or after I pay the bills. For some reason, we have an inability to listen to our body's needs for rest. It feels like we're being slackers, and we've been taught that laziness is a bad mark on our character. And in the back of my head, I hear Jesus saying, "Come away and rest. The laundry will wait. The project will still be there tomorrow." So finally, this morning, we get to hear this. The apostles gathered around Jesus and told him all that they had done and taught. He said to them, "Come away to a deserted place all by yourselves and rest a while." For many were coming and going, and they had no leisure even to eat. And they went away in the boat to a deserted place by themselves. Doesn't that sound inviting? Didn't your shoulders lower just a little bit when you heard those words I read again? I want to climb into that boat and go away to a deserted place to rest. I need to find that place where no one will find me for a while. I am quite sure there will be no storm at sea this time, no fear of drowning or that the boat will be swamped. We have worked our tails off during COVID. We may have been holed up, safe and sound, reading or knitting or binge watching Netflix. We may also have been working from home, helping our kids learn online, which, with varied success, lots of people added four-legged or two-legged critters to their families. All of us were frightened to some extent, and fear wreaks havoc on our systems. Some of us were sick with the virus. Some of us endured the ultimate loss and its accompanying grief, usually alone. All of us anguished over the political scene, regardless of which side we fell on the red and blue line. Most of us have wrestled with our white privilege this past year and a half. We had to learn to Zoom. We had to buy things online or shop senior hours in the dark of winter. We had to sacrifice many, many things. No eating out, no vacations. We had to wear masks, and we had to isolate ourselves from our friends, our parents, our children, our grandchildren. We are exhausted from all of this, utterly and completely exhausted. If you don't think you are, I would very much beg to differ. Your body is probably a little bit slower than it was 2 years ago. Your mind may not be quite as sharp, and your soul is struggling to find peace. We need more than a long weekend to recover, because all we would do with that extra day is run 3 or 4 loads of laundry. It's like we've just run a marathon and our entire being is drained of every ounce of energy we had to put into something so enormous. It's so overwhelming. And the world wants us to start running another one tomorrow morning. What we should all do is take a 6-month sabbatical. We should, shouldn't we? We should all listen deeply to God, to hear words like rest, time out, peace, take a nap, go for a walk, smell the roses. Trust me when I say Jesus wants you to do those things too. You have worked really hard to keep it together. And whether you believe it or not, you have even thought about it in this way, you have been very much like the apostles in this gospel story. If you need to, become an apostle for a moment and hear Jesus summon you away to rest. I'm going to suggest pretty strongly that you don't just jump back into life as you knew it. It's not 6 months, but about 4 until Advent begins, the new year of the church. Take this time to really Sabbath. That does not mean that you climb into bed and don't get up until November 28th. And it doesn't mean you quit showing up for work every day. But let's give our souls, our bodies, our minds, our emotions some time to recover, some time to heal. I hesitate to suggest it, and maybe you already knew this, but if you need to take a Sunday off for a nap or a walk, or to play with your children or grandchildren or friends, take it. It's okay. We'll still be here, and we'll be here next week and next month. Imagine for a moment climbing into the boat with Jesus and sailing away to a quiet place. Listen to the waves. Feel the gentle rocking of the boat. Watch the gulls soaring overhead and taste the salty air on your lips. Let yourself really go there. The best outcome is that you will have a chance to walk on the beach and talk with Jesus. How many of us do that on a regular basis? We all say we want to. We all know we need to. And isn't that the kind of relationship that Jesus really wants with us? In my partner's work with Episcopal Relief and Development, I teach people about building resilience. I talk about how our souls are often like water coolers, that all the stressors in our lives keep tapping the spigot at the bottom until there's no more water left inside to give. That's where we all are right now, whether we know it or not. To build ourselves back up again, we need to find ways to pour water back into the container. Those things are what we do to care for ourselves in healthy ways. For some, it's to read a good book, take walks, go fishing, go golfing. For others, it is to gather with friends or family. For some, it is to find a day alone, to walk in a park, to walk along the beach. Some people cook or bake. What do you do? What do you need to do? Do some planning. Do some dreaming. Play. Reconnect. Regroup. Restore. Most of all, listen. Listen to Jesus calling you away. Then I wonder if we really want to go back to the way things were a couple years ago. I wonder if we want to keep some things and toss out some others that weren't life-giving, that didn't bring us joy, didn't bring us peace. On the back of your bulletin, the last page has nothing on it. If you're at home, you might want to grab a piece of paper. I invite you for the next couple of minutes to write down 3 things that were hard this last year and a half. 3 things that you need to grieve. 3 things. And now write down 3 things that would give you rest. And finally, write down 3 things that you might do to celebrate. We did make it. At least almost. I invite you to take this list home. Pray with it. It very, very well may be your Sabbath journey. Pray with it. And before Advent, we, as a body of Christ, will do these things together. That is the blessing of being part of a community that knows and trusts each other. We will lament and we will grieve. We will rest and we will restore. And we will celebrate and rejoice. The apostles gathered around Jesus and told him all that they had done and taught. He said to them, "Come away to a deserted place all by yourselves and rest for a while." For many were coming and going, and they had no leisure even to eat. And they went away in the boat to a deserted place by themselves. Do this like you have to, because you do have to become whole and healthy again. Only then will we be able to live into the new life that Jesus calls us into. That new life is resurrection life, because life happened, and then there was death. And now there is the chance and the promise of resurrection. But we must rest first. In Jesus' holy name, amen.